What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the infamous Red Pill Talks in the Super Sport. Where has the Super Sport been? It's probably what you're asking. What's been taking so long for the next Super Sport, the Impala Super Sport V8 video? Well, recently, I had a leak in my fucking transmission, bro. It's called a pump seal, and I guess it was worn out. It was leaking from the inside of the transmission. And this car is a front wheel drive V8, so it can't just be like transmission only being taken out. You gotta take out the entire engine with the transmission, because like kind of connects to the side, and then with it like kicking out to the right. So it took some time to get it fixed, but now it's fixed. And I also had a power steering pump issue, which was making the car videos kind of annoying. Right now, it's probably annoying because I had the wipers on. It's raining right now in Texas, Waxahachie, Texas. But yeah, I got everything fits on the Impala. No check engine light, since no problems. Has a little slow takeoff, but I think that just needs some new fuel injectors, right? So, guys, on Waxahachie, Texas, my current town that I live in, and people are going crazy right now, guys. They're going crazy. And excuse me if I look at the camera a little weird. It might seem like I'm looking to the right, but maybe looking right here. But yeah, people have been going crazy. They act like they've never, experienced any ice. We had a horrible ice storm in Texas back in 2021. And it could be, potential PTSD, some people have going on, because the electricity cut out for like 3 days back in 2021. If anybody from Texas remembers, I know my place shut down on electricity for a little bit. And, I was just in there solo in the snowstorm, one man, no stove, eating fucking applesauce and canned food and shit. Yeah, it was a dark time for a lot of people. I didn't. It wasn't a dark time for me, but it was a dark time for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are just kind of stressing about what might happen, what could happen, because Texas isn't a state, or at least the southern part of Texas isn't prepared for that type of weather, because we only get it once a year for a weekend, and it maybe gets colder like the next week or two after that. Then it goes back into spring, right? So yeah, fucking stores are cleared out, HEB is cleared out, Walmart somewhat cleared out. But what's crazy is, I don't know if this many people have gas stoves, but they're buying all the perishable food. That if the electricity does go out, yeah, it would be cold enough to put your food outside. But if, you have the heater going or whatever, and say, it's raining outside, you don't have any coverage area, like the heater's going to drive. Well, shit, you don't have electricity, you don't have a heater either. So, it could be cold enough to withhold all the perishable foods, but honestly, it didn't make any sense to me, the amount of perishable foods that were being taken from these stores. But anyways, yeah, that's what's going on down here. Just a little update. I just got out of the gym. I did reach my goal weight this last week, which was 175. I've been chasing that weight for the past year since I started my journey back into the gym. And I reached that goal weight, and I was taking creatine at the start of the journey for, size and strength or whatever. And then I stopped just to, speed up the process of, decreasing the LBS, the kgs, So I reached my goal weight, and now what I'm going to do is hop back on creatine. I hopped back on creatine yesterday, And honestly, I forgot how much it fucked up my stomach. Hold on, I'm at a school zone. I don't know if I'm this. You would just run the guy stop sign, bro. Yeah, I'm back on creatine. I didn't realize how bad it messed up my stomach. Yesterday, like, I took the creatine before the gym on an empty stomach, which I probably shouldn't have. And while I was working out, I'm just fucking getting a little sweat with some nausea, some fucking stomach cramps. And I just wasn't like, I wasn't prepared for that shit at all. Had to cut the workout a little short because I only brought so much water with me. Go home, chug some water and shit. Eat a meal, get some protein in, fill my stomach back up. Because what creatine does is, which I should have been aware of it, from taking it previously. What creatine does is it draws the water from your stomach into your muscles or from your intestines. The stomach that you are ingesting, not the stomach, the water that you're ingesting into your stomach, it draws that out, puts it to the muscles, right? And it was like first thing in the morning, creatine to the dome, and yeah, I just didn't feel my best the rest of the day. Felt a little better towards the end of the day, but most of the day, yeah, it was kind of fucked. So I'm going back home, taking my creatine post workout, possibly with a meal, some protein, some meat, maybe some steak, some ground turkey, whatever. And I'm only gonna do an 8-week cycle. I'm not gonna take it like for months and months on end, like I was doing before. I'm just gonna take it 8-week cycle. See the results, enjoy the results. Depending on what results I get, then I might take it even further. Do a continuation past the 8 weeks. Maybe do it for maybe a couple more months into the summer. Then kind of cut back on it towards the beginning of the summer when I go out, to Hurricane Harbor and Six Flags with the kids. Don't want to be too too visibly chunky. Not that it fucking matters, it's just my own personal thing. But yeah, that's the update right now, guys. The holidays are over. It's still January. Surprisingly, January is lasting a lot longer than it has in the previous years. So if you've been contemplating to yourself things that you need to do and things that you want to do, go ahead and start now. Start while it's cold, while you're uncomfortable, so that way when you get to a point when you're comfortable, it's not as uncomfortable when you're doing it. When you encounter hurdles or bumps in the road, it's something that you will be able to overcome a lot more easier than starting later and then jumping into those obstacles that are in the way and then just being super uncomfortable altogether. And you tend to just overwhelm yourself with shit. When you're chasing something, you just kind of overwhelm yourself. And then when you overwhelm yourself, you just like kind of back up. You get back into that comfortable position, and you end up falling off of the path that you were taking to better yourself, whether it was for money, social relationships, statuses, whatever you have going on for yourself, right? So whatever you're doing, do it now, start now. And once you start, don't stop. Figure out a way and push through that shit. Trust me, guys. So another piece I want to talk about, let's talk about what's going on right now in current, sorry, it's rainy. It's raining right now. My tires are, on the suspect side right now. What's going on in the modern culture right now? I'll tell you what. Apparently, the Avengers of the Red Pill community, the Mount Rushmores of Red Pill. Some of them, I wouldn't even put them up there because some of them are actually kind of lame and don't know what the fuck they're talking about and just kind of ride the Red Pill wave for shock value, right? But To the outside looking in, would be like the Avengers, Mount Rushmore, Red Pill guys, right? They went out. So the story is, uh, some are in Black Pill too, which I'm not. I'm not a part of that. I do understand some of the concepts, but I'm not a part of the Black Pill community, guys. So apparently, they were all hanging out or whatever for a stream, and Nick Fuentes, uh, somebody brought the idea of Nick Fuentes, going to the club for the first time. Like you guys know, he's a virgin, and he's not. He's somebody who stays inside the house and does his work from the inside out. First time going to the club. On the way to the club, somebody plays the infamous Hitler song by Kanye West, right? Which honestly, like I was red pilled on the whole Israel thing, a while back. So honestly, like the song, it's a I think it's a decent song, to work out to or whatever. I definitely bump the song in the gym here and there, if I'm doing chest or whatever, fucking arms, for whatever reason. It just like it's a fucking lit song. I can see how it is, offensive to certain demographics, certain culture, certain religion. But I just kind of I look beyond that, So that song was playing. Somebody put it on. Apparently, uh, whoever put the song on, right, it was for the stream, which it's allegedly Sneeko, which I've never watched like a Sneeko stream or a Sneeko video. And Andrew Tate was there, and Andrew Tate's getting some flack for it, for being just there, wrong place, wrong time type of situation, right? And it's like now he's going on these podcasts defending himself because they, were playing it on the bus to the club, and they were playing it in the club, and he was on camera or whatever. It's not like he was singing the lyrics. There's only, I think, 3 of them were singing the lyrics, right? The main like clout chasers of the Red Pill space were Clav, Sneeko, and Myron, which honestly, allegedly it's Sneeko who played the song, but the way that Myron was kind of, he was going a little too hard with the song, doing the Nazi salutes or whatever. He was going a little too crazy. And I think it might have been Myron. I think Myron said something to Sneeko, and Sneeko was like, oh, fuck yeah. Because Sneeko, I know he seems like one of those guys who just easily influence. He doesn't seem like one of those like top G, like genuine men. You know what I mean? He seems like one of those guys who would just be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm doing that shit. And then trying to maybe like, oh yeah, I was gonna play that shit anyway. You know what I mean? So my theory is that they were in the bus, right, on the way to the club, and they all know the song. They're controversial guys. They all know the song. And I think Myron was like, hey guys, like, hey bro. He's like, hey nigga. And he's probably talking to like the whites on the bus to call him nigga and shit. Like, hey bro, play some Kanye. They probably put on like Runaway or some shit. He's like, nah. Sneeko. Play the one I was telling you about. And I fucking play it, blast it, and then it just goes hard. Probably people on the live stream are just fucking going crazy in the comments and W's in the chats, all that type of shit, right? But it could just, overall, looks kind of corny. Look kind of like a cornball situation. But I understand the shock value towards it. The amount of, because it ended up going on the news, right? The amount of controversy that it caused, the amount of people that, started talking about it, club owners, representatives of Miami, talked about it on the news and whatever. Like, it got to that point, which surprised me. I didn't think they still had that much push into the modern media, but it's crazy. But those are my allegations: is that Myron instigated the song being played just because of the action you know, that he was really the only one going like pretty hard on the song with the Nazi salutes. I think even Nick did it too, but that's expected. You know, it's like, you know, like he does that shit like for real. Versus Myron is like, he doesn't do that shit on a daily basis type shit. Makes sense. Uh, but as far as most of those guys, like, you know, Andrew Tate was keeping his cool. Tristan, uh, damn, who else was there? Clav, you know, keeping, you know, he was singing it, but you know, he's still a young guy. But all in all, like, it matters. Okay, like I get it. It matters to a certain type of people, right? To that certain type of people, right? But it's like for these, for the media to take it to this extent, I think it is part of the. It's like the. It's like the enemies of the red pill space, right? Oh, I'm pulling up at the crib right now. It's like the guys that push the propaganda that's like completely opposite of, you know, red pill thinking or just anti-matrix thinking. You know, those are the guys that are gonna push against it. Uh, you know, and try to, you know, cancel guys and possibly even put guys in jail for it, right? Because at the end of the day, it is uh, it's detrimental to the other side's propaganda to tell men to think for themselves and do what they think is actually right, right? Because you do have that. Everybody has like somewhat of a moral compass, right? And they know what actually is right, and they know what actually is wrong. Versus people without people having to tell them, right? There's an inner feeling. Your voice on the inside kind of tells you. Unless like you're just born fucking evil, something tells you, right? And this act is just like an extension or an over exaggeration of freedom of speech, right? It's like we're already telling guys to speak for themselves. Fuck what anybody thinks about what you got going on, as long as it's for the better of society and the good of man. Fuck what anybody thinks, right? And they kind of take this to these links of doing things like this, playing a song strictly just because they can, right? Like in reality, you can do that, but you have to understand like what's gonna come with that, and that's just in your day to day, just on your normal journey. Yes, speak, not necessarily, yeah, speak what you think, but understand the consequences. Kind of think before you speak, before you say. Understand who you're talking to. Understand the people that are around you. Because there's speaking without a filter, and then there's just speaking like this is it's kind of a turn off to people, right? Because at the end of the day, you do have to build. You have to be likable to society in a way in order to move forward and progress. Whether it's money, status, or whatever, right? Yeah, there's going to be certain people that will come along with you, but you are better playing chess, not checkers, if you know what I'm saying. The real ones will understand what the fuck I'm saying, right? They're just saying your network is your net worth, and if you're networking with certain people, you have to go about things differently with a business mindset, with a, you know, what are the consequences to what I'm going to do, what I'm about to do, what I'm about to say, right? But at the end of the day, still don't let anything hold you back. Just understand there's something else always on the other side of your action and what you say, right? It influences somebody in some type of way, right? So just take that from what I was talking about. Guys, that's it for the video. Subscribe, like, comment, and share with the homie news to hear this. This is Coach Kane. It's the Red Pill Talks in the SS and the Super Sport. We out.